What if I told you that the wealthiest people in Japan have been using money habits that most Americans have never even heard of? While you're busy chasing the next big investment trend, millions of quiet millionaires across Japan are building generational wealth using principles so simple they seem almost invisible. And if you're serious about building real, lasting wealth, you're going to want to watch this entire video. So please subscribe to the channel because we break down wealth building strategies that actually work every single week. The first Japanese money habit is called kakeibo, and it's a method of mindful spending that dates back over a century. Instead of just tracking your expenses like most Americans do, kakeibo asks you a simple but powerful question. Am I spending this money intentionally, or am I spending it out of habit? When you sit down each month with a journal and write out exactly where your money goes, something magical happens. You start to see patterns. You notice the small expenses that add up to thousands of dollars every year. You begin to understand not just how much you're spending, but why. The Japanese believe that awareness itself is the first step to wealth. By writing things down by hand, you engage a different part of your brain than you do when you just check your banking app. There's something about the physical act of writing that forces you to slow down and actually think about your choices. The second habit is called matainai, which roughly translates to a deep sense of regret over waste. In America, we throw away perfectly good items constantly. We upgrade because it's convenient. We replace because it's easier than repairing. But in Japan, matainai teaches you to see waste not just as a financial loss, but as a moral one. When you develop this mindset, you keep things longer. You repair instead of replace. You find multiple uses for items before you discard them. This habit alone can save you tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. It's not about being cheap. It's about respecting the resources and the labor that went into creating something. When you truly internalize matainai, your spending patterns change entirely. You buy less, but you buy better. You invest in quality because you know you'll keep it for decades. Like this video if you're starting to see how these principles compound over time. The third habit is genmaimai, which is the practice of eating brown rice and simple foods instead of expensive processed alternatives. Now this might sound like it's about nutrition, but it's really about wealth. The Japanese understand that food is one of the largest expenses in most household budgets. By choosing simple, unprocessed ingredients, you cut your food costs dramatically, while actually improving your health. Most Americans spend hundreds of dollars every month on convenience foods, restaurant meals, and premium brands. The Japanese achieve better health outcomes while spending a fraction of that amount. When you apply this principle to every category of your life, not just food, you realize you can live an excellent life on far less money than you thought possible. The fourth habit is sekkinen, which means responsibility and obligation to future self. In Japan, there's a cultural understanding that you are responsible for the well-being of your future self, just as much as you are for your present self. This might sound philosophical, but it's deeply practical. When you truly believe you have an obligation to your future self, you don't take on debt casually. You don't make purchases that will burden future you. You save for emergencies not because you have to, but because you respect your future self enough to protect them. This mindset completely changes how you relate to money. You stop thinking about money as a tool for immediate gratification and start thinking about it as a bridge between your present and your future. The fifth habit is called kodoku no gourmet, which translates to a joy in eating and experiencing things alone, without needing to spend money on entertainment or social validation. Many Americans equate spending with happiness. You spend money on dinners out, on clubs, on expensive experiences, partly because you want to enjoy life and partly because you want others to see you enjoying it. But the Japanese have a different philosophy. They find deep satisfaction in simple pleasures that cost little or nothing. A walk through nature, a quiet meal prepared at home, time spent reading. This habit isn't about being antisocial. It's about finding happiness in activities that don't require constant spending. When you master this, your quality of life actually increases while your expenses decrease. The sixth habit is setsuyaku, which is the practice of frugal living without sacrifice. This is different from just being cheap. Setsuyaku means you're intentional, strategic, and creative about how you live. You find the best quality items at discounted prices. You shop strategically. You use coupons and sales not because you're desperate, but because you're smart. You negotiate on large purchases. You buy off season. You learn to do things yourself instead of paying others. The result is that you live exceptionally well while spending far less than your neighbors. And the thing is, this doesn't feel like deprivation. It feels like winning. The seventh habit is chochiku, which simply means saving, but with a specific philosophy. In Japan, saving is not something you do with money left over after you spend. Saving comes first. The moment you receive income, you put money aside for savings before you pay any other bills. This is called paying yourself first, and it's foundational to wealth building. Most Americans do it backwards. They spend, they pay bills, and then they save whatever is left, which is usually nothing. But when you reverse the order, your brain adapts. You learn to live on less because you have to, and your savings compound automatically. Even if you start with just 5% of your income, over 30 or 40 years, the power of compound interest builds real wealth. The eighth habit is gaman, which is the ability to endure discomfort for a greater goal. Americans are trained to seek comfort constantly. We want convenience, we want ease, and we want it now. But gaman teaches you that temporary discomfort in service of a larger goal is not just acceptable, it's noble. You take the bus instead of driving. You live with a roommate longer than you strictly need to. You buy the generic brand. You say no to things you want in order to achieve things that matter more. This habit is powerful because it builds discipline and because it compounds. Small discomforts today create large freedoms tomorrow. When you can endure temporary frustration to reach a goal, you've unlocked one of the most important wealth-building skills there is. The ninth habit is kizuki, which means mindfulness and awareness in all things, but especially in spending. The Japanese practice a form of meditation around money. Before they make a purchase, they pause. They ask themselves questions. Do I need this? Will this add value to my life? Am I buying this to solve a problem or to create an identity? This moment of pause is deceptively powerful. Most impulse spending happens in that gap between desire and action. When you insert mindfulness into that gap, you make different choices. You spend less on things that don't matter, and you're willing to spend more on things that do. Your purchasing becomes aligned with your values instead of being driven by marketing and emotion. The 10th and final habit is manabu, which means to learn and to study. The Japanese understand that financial literacy is not something you're born with. It's something you develop. The wealthiest Japanese people are voracious readers about money, economics, and business. They understand that every dollar you spend educating yourself about finance will return to you many times over. They read books, they study market trends, they learn from history. They understand that knowledge is the most valuable asset you can own. When you commit to learning about money, you make better decisions. You avoid costly mistakes. You spot opportunities that others miss. And your wealth compounds not just financially, but intellectually. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these Japanese money habits resonates most with you? Are you already practicing any of these? Or are there some that challenge how you think about money? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this video has shifted how you think about wealth building, please like and subscribe. We're building a community of people who understand that quiet wealth is built through habits, not luck. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.